Cox can help make your home smarter and your life easier. Now you can use your Contour voice remote to connect to your home life cameras so you can view them right on your TV screen using simple voice commands. That makes it easy to keep tabs on what's happening around your home right from your couch. Need to keep an eye on the kids when they're playing outside? Just say, "Show me my backyard camera" into your Cox voice remote and watch them while you're in the house. And if you're waiting for a delivery and want to make sure it's there on time, no problem. Just say, "Show me driveway camera" to check on it with your Home Life HD cameras on the TV screen while you go about your day. When you live in a home powered by Cox Internet, you can stay connected to what matters and let Cox take care of the rest. To learn more about all the benefits of your connected home, visit cox.com/thisishome today.
Welcome, everybody, to our August. I can hardly believe we're already in August. Our August Animal Reiki talk for 2021, and this is our topic tonight has kind of been inspired just lately by some experiences that I've had. One of them I wrote about in my newsletter today. So I wanted to talk a little bit about finding sacred moments in unexpected places. And this is our topic. And I'd love to hear afterwards if any of you want to share. I got some beautiful emails today from people who shared some incredibly sacred experiences they've had on the land where they live, which I found really touching. So I'd love to hear if any of you have anything you'd like to share after I say a few things tonight. So for the Animal Reiki talk, this is kind of all things Animal Reiki, and we'll have time for Q&A as well, and we'll always finish with an animal healing circle at the end. So finding sacred moments in unexpected places, how is this a topic for Animal Reiki? Well, those of you who've been studying with me, you know that for me, Animal Reiki is not like a little thing that I do once in a while on the side. I see it really as a spiritual practice that affects everything in my life, that affects the way I respond to situations, that it affects choices that I make, that affects all kinds of aspects of my life, not just when I'm doing an official session with an animal or whatever. So one of the topics that I've been teaching about so much recently, and I think especially in the last year, this has been on the top of my mind for my own Animal Reiki practice, and I've been bringing it more and more into the teachings, and that is the mindfulness that our Animal Reiki practice creates. Mindfulness to me is at the heart, at the center of our Animal Reiki practice. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is being present, being here now, and being aware of like what you're doing, how you're feeling, what's going on physically, what's going on mentally, emotionally, okay? That awareness of this present moment, right? For me, mindfulness in the context of Animal Reiki also means not running away from difficult moments, but learning how to face them with open-hearted, compassionate presence. And that's what a lot of our techniques that we learn and the 6 pillars of Let Animals Lead and all of that really help bring us into that compassion in this present moment. I think it's very hard to have mindfulness if we are always trying to change the moment or are always trying to run away from the moment, because then we don't want to bring mindfulness here to this moment unless it's a good moment. So our practice really helps us to soften that and to be able to bring mindfulness each and every moment. Our Animal Reiki practice, besides mindfulness, also brings an awareness of connection. And in our Animal Reiki practice, it's about connection with other species, but really, it really extends to all living things. So even, the trees and, the plants, of course, people, but also the non-living things. We realize that we are all made of energy. So then we feel more connected to the rivers and the mountains who we might not say are technically alive, and yet they are energy, just like we are energy, right? And then really expanding out from that, that idea that the earth is part of this connectedness. And so the way we treat the earth matters, right? Not just the way we treat each other as human beings. Yes, that matters. The way we treat animals, yes, that matters. But the way we treat the earth and everything that lives and grows on the earth, all of this really matters because we're all connected. We're all one, right? So those two concepts in my animal Reiki practice of mindfulness and connectedness, that really has been coming up a lot in my teachings over the last year or so. And then I had this experience yesterday, which I talked about in my newsletter. I want to share it with you guys. And that really made me think about our topic tonight, which is finding sacredness in unexpected places. So yesterday we were planting some new hydrangea bushes in our front yard, and we discovered this little kind of cloth that was wrapped up and down underneath, sort of in the dirt. And we were digging the hole for this new hydrangea. And we opened it up, and there were little kitty cat bones, just the bones left. And it was like, oh my gosh, we've lived here, I think, let's see, Indigo's 14. So we've lived here 13 years, and the house was built in like 1950. And so it's, had at least 3 families live here that I know of. We are the 3rd family that I know of. There may be more, but those are the ones that I know. And has a lot of history here. And I don't think I really thought about that history quite so much until I saw these little bones of this little kitty cat wrapped so carefully. And so we returned the bones to the earth, and now he's going to be, this little kitty is going to be laid to rest between 2 beautiful hydrangeas that we just planted yesterday. And it got me thinking about all of the love. It was like I could almost feel the love by seeing how the bones were wrapped up so carefully. And the place of the grave was as close to the house as possible, right up against the house. And I realized too that my own dog, Dakota, had passed away in our front yard as well, under the tree about 5 feet away from this spot in 2007, so 14 years ago. And so I thought, gosh, there is such a history actually right here in my front yard of love, animals, love, and loss, and all of this that makes up, what is life, right? All of these things together. And it felt really sacred that, I always knew our front yard. Every time I come in and I have a little rock that says Pup's Dream. I always used to call Dakota Pups. It says Pup's Dream, and it's right under the tree where he passed away. So whenever I walk in the front yard, I see that and I think of Dakota. And I thought, and here there is this special little kitty cat that used to live here who's also here in this space. And it just felt really sacred that, maybe the people who lived here long ago have passed on and nobody remembers this kitty cat anymore, but here he was discovered, and now we remember him, and that love that the family felt. It felt so sacred to kind of open that up again, that love up again through our discovery, and then putting him between these beautiful flowers. And I thought, gosh, there's so many times in our life where something unexpected happens, like us finding these bones, or maybe we take a wrong turn and we find ourselves in an unexpected place that we weren't expecting, or it's just something unplanned happens in our life. And a lot of times I think our first reaction is to be like, wait, I wasn't planning on this. For me, I'm like, I could have been like, hey, I'm planting flowers. This is a real downer. You know what I mean? Be like, I don't want to find bones in my yard. I'm trying to like make a nice front yard. What is up with, or if we find ourselves, lost, we get, oh, and now I'm going to be late. And we get all irritated and frustrated when unexpected things happen in our life that aren't planned, right? That's kind of our human nature, I think. But if we've been practicing mindfulness in our animal Reiki practice and also nurturing that awareness of our connection, that deep connectedness we have to each other and to all things on the planet, these moments of the unexpected are actually doors that we can open into sacredness if we want to. And I really felt like yesterday I wanted to open that door into sacredness. I wanted to return the bones to this special place. Now in our family, we all know they're there and they're planted between these beautiful flowers, and that matters. That's special. And I sat and did a meditation for the kitty, and just it was kind of like a meditation on time and how quickly time passes, and that feeling of love that I'm sure that Kitty had with his family and the loss that they probably experienced. I mean, when I lost Dakota in my front yard, I probably thought, this is the only time this has ever happened in this front yard. Well, maybe not, you know? And so it really makes you start to feel connected. I think maybe sometimes we feel connected to our own family and maybe our own ancestors in our family, but how often do we feel connected to just those who have come before us? And this was an opportunity for me to really find that sacredness and acknowledge my life right now physically is built on the others who've come before me. And even the animals. And that was such like it felt so sacred and special. So I could take something that could have been, you know, creepy or irritating, or, I wish I hadn't found those or whatever, and I can instead push open the door into sacredness. So it's something that I invite you guys to do if you haven't already. But I wonder if some of you have already experienced this yourself with the land that you live on, the land that you walk, where you live. If you have felt that sacred, deep connection to the past, to the years that have gone before, and the people and the animals and the beings and the trees and everybody who's come before us. And, I think those two skills that we're nurturing in Animal Reiki, our mindfulness and our compassion, both of those bring gratitude. So in the end, after all, discovering this in our front yard and reburying him and thinking about Dakota and doing a meditation and thinking about time, what I really felt at the end of the day was gratitude. So I'd love to maybe talk a little bit more about that with you guys tonight, if any of you are want to share anything about that. But I will say, before I open it up to Q&A, and then we'll finish, of course, with our healing circle. Before I open it up to Q&A, I have a new set of classes starting in September. So go on animalreikisource.com, check it out. And, oh, you guys disappeared for a second. You're back. If you have any questions about the classes, just send me an email. But I hope to see some of you at the trainings that coming up next month that start I guess the level 1 starts like Monday, August 30th. So that's coming up, and then it's an 8-week class. And these are going to be the last set of classes that I do for 2021. I don't normally teach in November, December, because it's just too crazy with all of the holidays and everything else. So probably will be my last set of classes, and then we'll start level 1, 2, and 3 up again in January. So those classes are up on my website if you're interested. All right, so I'm going to open it up to you guys. I'd love to hear comments on our topic tonight, anything you guys would like to add. Also, any other questions you may have about the Let Animals Lead method or Animal Reiki. I'm here to answer those questions. So I will get to you guys. You guys can unmute yourself.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi,
It's
Deborah. How are
Deborah.
you?
How are you?
Good.
I was so interested in the topic tonight. I loved your story with the cat, and it is just so sacred and so beautiful that you made that special place. Um, and I just want to share that as I know you're aware, I have the connection with whales where I live and orcas. And when they do swim by in the wild, whilst I've been meditating, there was one morning where I had a really clear message. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, these are such magnificent creatures. And I was in the awe of it. And they directed my attention over to a place called Shack Island, which sadly used to be a whaling station many, many, many years ago. And they asked me to be there so I can get there on low tide, to be there and to do Reiki over there, to sit in meditation over there for all of the whales that lost their lives. So I just that was just what I wanted to share.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So I realize it's a sacred place. I realize
Yeah.
that anywhere that has that sort of history where that kind of, horrible brutality has happened and so many whales have lost their lives, I realize that it can be made a sacred place through prayerful meditation and changing the energy. Yeah. So thank you, Kathleen.
Well, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much. You know what your story reminded me of, Deborah? Years ago, my husband and I went to Spain, and I ended up finding myself we were walking all around the town, and I found myself at the bullfighting arena, but it was a day off. There was no one there. And at first I was like, oh, I don't want to go in. And then I said, no, I have to go in so that I can share my
Right.
animal Reiki in this terrible place. And
Right.
I'll never forget, I went in, they had this big hall, and it had all the heads of the bulls on the
Oh
wall.
my gosh.
And then there were a couple of bulls that were like highlighted because they had killed the matador, and so they had their head and their mother's head because they killed the bull and the mother when they win. And so they had
Wow.
those ones highlighted, and it was just heads. And I thought, oh, this is the space to do my animal Reiki meditation and to just fill all of this space right here with love and respect and honoring of those bulls. And it felt like
Absolutely.
I knew nobody else had ever done that there, and I
Right.
was like,
Yes.
nobody would think of it because they're not
No.
considered sacred beings. This is a sport and they're expendable. And so it was like so I feel like that finding that sacredness in the most unexpected, terrible place that you would
Yeah.
normally run from. But if we can like bring that compassion and love into that space, I believe it does heal. It
Yes.
heals beyond space, healing energy heals beyond space and time. And that ripples out into the universe. And even if there's only a few of us, human beings that think about the plight of those bulls and that send them love and compassion and include the people
Absolutely.
that people's awareness can be expanded and uplifted so that they can realize a different way, a more compassionate way forward. You know what I mean? I feel that's
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
important. It's important for
It
us to
is.
do. Yeah.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. That must have been like difficult going in there for sure.
Luckily, we were the only ones there because there were a lot of tears. I'll tell you that. but
Oh, oh
but
yeah,
I
it's heartbreaking. Yeah,
yeah, I definitely felt lighter, and I felt that it
right,
was like important. After I did it, I felt a lot lighter, and I felt like, wow, that was something that needed to happen on this ground.
right.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. 100%. Yeah, that's beautiful that you did that. It really is.
well, and I love your story too, and that reminded me I haven't thought of that in years and years. So, thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing that too.
Now, there's somebody had a slide of a tree root that they were going to share, and I just took it down while we were talking. But who was that has the tree root? I wanted to share that because I can put it back up, I think.
Hi, it's me, Amy.
Amy, okay, let me put that back up for people. Those of you who are listening to the recording, you won't see the picture, but it's a tree with these beautiful roots. Okay, Amy, tell us your story.
So this is grandmother Sycamore, and she's adjoining my property. She's really on my neighbor's. I pay
Oh, you're
grandmother shamanic.
you're breaking up a little bit. Hello, are you still there? She broke up. Can't hear you now, Amy.
No,
Uh-oh.
I don't hear her either.
Yeah, and I lost her picture too.
I did see the
Sorry.
picture.
Well, we just see. Thank you for sharing that picture, and I'm sorry that that your connection isn't very good. But it's a beautiful tree. Thank you. I can see you again, Amy, but I don't know if your connection is good. Do you want to try speaking again? Oh no, she disappeared again. Okay, well let's, sorry about that, Amy. All right, well, who else would like to share? Anybody?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Mary Ellen.
Hi, Marielle.
Hi there. I have more of an observation. I live in a very populous area of the country, and all the horse farms, virtually all the horse farms that there were in New Jersey, northeastern part I'm talking about, have been basically, bulldozed over
Mm-hmm.
and townhouses and real estate development up there, and they have there's no sign of even a horseshoe, but there are horses under there from long ago.
Hmm.
So it's just an observation. Do those people don't even realize,
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
and all those horses have passed unremarkably at this point, but they're there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else want to share?
Well, as I just briefly, I have come back into a community of brothers. I was away from the community involved in other ministries, and I've come back into a community in outside of New York City. And it's a very old house, and I belong to a religious congregation of brothers, and we go all the way back to 1802. But and we kind of struggle to follow the vision of the person who created our congregation. And basically, it was teaching congregation, but I was involved in other kinds of work. And now as I get older, I came back into the community. And interestingly enough, I'm living in an old house, where lots of brothers used to live, over and over a number of years. and I'm up on the top floor, the third floor, and I'm in a kind of a fairly large room, as you can see behind me. It used to be a chapel, and but now most of the brothers are older now, and only us young guys can climb up all those stairs. and but I'm living in what used to be a chapel, and and I recently began to think, of all the people over the years, who used to come into this room, and trying to strive, as we all do, to be all that we can be, and follow in the footsteps of our predecessors. But it's a kind of a humbling thing as well, as now I can lay in my bed, as you can see behind me, at night as I go to sleep, and when I wake up in the morning. And it's just I just have noticed it's a kind of a sacred place, not just because it was a chapel, but because of the men that were here, trying to do the best they could, and and kind of being honored to remember them, and honor their efforts and all the good that they have done. So that's the kind of thoughts that came to my mind.
That's beautiful, and it's like wonderful energy for you for your home now, right? To have
Right.
this.
Mm-hmm.
How lovely. Great. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else or any other questions about Let Animals Lead or anything that you guys want to ask before we do our healing circle tonight? All right. Well, then let's, oh, yes, somebody just unmuted.
Hello. Hi, Kathleen.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Because I'm not sure
Yes,
how
I
that
can
would
hear you.
sound like because of the microphone, but it's okay.
Yes, yes.
Hi. So, I wanted to ask you a question just now when you were sharing your story about like what happened, what Deborah was shared about the whales as well. I'm thinking, as a Reiki practitioner,
Mhm.
is is sharing Reiki to the ones who have passed before us a way to feel better about ourselves? So in that sense, there is the ego there as well, whether so that's my personal struggle, because recently I saw a lot of people around me who passed away because of a lot of reasons, and I because obviously then you couldn't just go directly to the person and say, are you open to receive Reiki? You just have to try to connect to them energetically, and if they're open, I will always say this, where if you're open, then I share this with you, but if not, then then at least I set the intention to send it out, right?
Yeah.
But so one, I think I'm more like also thinking of it like I'm just thinking along as I'm like speaking it out, whether um, how do you place the role of Reiki? Um, yeah, whether it's to the past one or for you as a practitioner, like, is it more like a, make yourself feel good because there's something that you could do in the face of death? You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
I would say that that's very true, but it's true in any time that we share Reiki, because we're part of that. We're part of this present moment. Like, right? When we're sitting with our animal or with a person and we're sharing this space of energy, we are also energy. We are in the energy as well. We're
Mm.
all connected in it. So there's no way for us to really separate ourselves. For me, the most important thing is to always, like you said, is that idea of, if you're open, I share this, but, it's not like, oh, I need to fix this problem. I need to send healing to this or that. It's more like, I want to radiate love and compassion so that there's a possibility to uplift and to transcend the suffering that is here in this moment. More than, it's not so much about me as it is about the energy of which we're all a part of. And I think when we try to see it more in terms of a space that the animal can step into or not, right? Then there's that free will, there's that independence, there's that agency that the animal has. And then it's not like, oh, I'm the healer. Thank God I'm here to help you, you poor thing. It's more like meeting together as partners, or even seeing the animal as a teacher and being humble and thinking, what can I learn in this moment? And I open my heart and I open my mind to receive that. So I think you bring up a great point, and I think humility is really key when we're working with animal Reiki, because it's not the space we usually visit when we're with animals. Normally it's like, okay, humans here, animals here, I'm the caretaker, I know best, I'm, doing all these things for my animals. But with animal Reiki, it gives the animal the opportunity of that real choice and preference and being a partner, like coming forward actively to create this shared compassion. And so I think, I don't know, I think that it's okay that we get healed in that space. It's okay that we also have feelings that need to be resolved. We don't have to be perfect in order to share this space. You know what I mean? And I think, to
Mm.
me, I would say what's most important when I enter into that sacred space of animal Reiki is, I think to myself, I want to be authentic with where I am now, with my emotions and everything. I want to be authentic. I don't want to try to like push everything down and pretend like I'm fine if I'm not. Do you know what I mean? So I think that
Mm.
animals really, they operate with full authenticity all the time. And they can honor that in us as well. I think they always see through to it anyway, even when we're trying to hide stuff. But they honor our true self and our authenticity, and I think if we're trying to act like we're not affected by this and everything's fine, but underneath it's not so fine, that kind of conflicted emotion can sometimes put animals off. You know, can kind of make them feel like, can I trust you? Because your emotions feel really muddy. And, you know, so I think that's the most important thing, is to really be authentic with the animals and, you know, meet them where you are in that moment and give them the freedom to walk away, you know, if they want to. But I agree, ego is always there, and we always want to just work on letting go, letting go, letting go.
Thank you so much, Kathleen.
All right, so that was a great question. So let's go into our animal healing circle for tonight, and I'm going to ask all of you for a special favor tonight. My dear horse Kodiak is not feeling very well tonight. He got a sore on his front leg, and it went into the joint, and now his whole leg is swollen. He's on antibiotics. The next few days make a lot of difference as far as whether it's going to get much worse or much better. I went out and did Reiki for a little over an hour today, and I could visibly see the swelling reduce after the Reiki session. So I felt like that was really grateful. So I know he's very open and responding really well to it. So I invite all of us to hold space for all the animals that we bring into our mind and heart today. But if you guys would include Kodiak in there, I would really appreciate it. And I hope tomorrow he's on the mend. We'll see. Okay, so let's go into Gasho. Take a moment to set our intention to dedicate all the energy of this practice to our animals. So just bring to your mind and heart the animals that you'd like to include today. And we just invite them to step into this space if they wish. It's totally up to them. And we can rest our hands on our lap. We're going to do some hara breathing. So breathing in, imagining your breath as a pure and clear light that comes in through the crown and fills your body as it moves all the way down to the hara, your lower belly. And then as you exhale, imagine this light can expand out of every pore of your skin into your aura like a beautiful gentle mist out into the universe. Breathing in through your crown, beautiful, pure, and clear light filling your body all the way down to the hara. Breathing out, expanding this light gently out into the universe. Breathing in the light, filling the body to the hara. Breathing out, expanding that light. Take another couple of breaths at your own pace. And just feeling that light filling your whole being, every cell of your being, and feeling that light expanding. As it expands out of your skin, it's as if it can soften the edges of your physical being and help you remember that you are the light. The light is you. You are the universe. And then just relax your breath. Sit in that space, a space of openness, of peace and harmony, perfect balance. See this space as a beautiful offering for all of the animals in our circle tonight. An offering without expectation. Offering with just a generous heart, all of that gratitude for our animals. We invite them to step into the space with us if they wish. And returning to that hara breath for a moment, seeing your breath as a pure and clear light, inhaling through the crown, filling the body all the way down to the lower belly, hara, breathing out, expanding this light out every pore, out into your aura, out into the universe. Breathing in, connecting, breathing out, expanding. Breathing in, connecting, breathing out, expanding. In, connecting, breathing out, expanding. Bringing your hands into Gassho. Just take a moment to thank all the animals in our circle tonight for connecting in whatever way they chose to in this moment. However they chose to connect right now is just perfect. Setting your intention to finish, take a nice deep breath, slowly come back and open your eyes. So thank you all for being here and for holding space for Kodiak and all the other animals that people invited in. And thank you also for sharing your beautiful stories. And if you weren't able to share, I always love emails. If you didn't share tonight, if you have a story you want to share with me about a sacred moment with the land or with an animal, I always love to hear that. So I wish you guys a beautiful August. I will see you guys again in September. Blessings, everybody. Take care. Bye.
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 Switching to Geico is a good idea, especially when you consider everything.
First off, Geico makes it easy to switch. They have licensed agents available 24/7 online or over the phone.
But if it's so easy, you might start thinking everything is easy, even big wave surfing. And it's not. It's actually quite difficult.
Well, if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds on car insurance. And you could keep saving by bundling your motorcycle, boat, and RV, plus your home or renter's insurance.
But saving money might lead you to make some questionable purchases, like a 20-foot feather boa. And do you know how hard it is to clean a 20-foot feather boa?
Well, they do have an industry-leading mobile app you can use to pay your bill, file and manage a claim, or add a new driver.
But when life gets a little easier, it makes you too confident, and you start calling everyone Ace. And you're better than that.
Well, Geico has a 97% customer satisfaction rating and has been saving people money for 85 years. It's hard to beat that.
But you're right.
Switch to Geico. It's obviously a good idea.